Okay, so it's that time of the week again, and it hit me a little bit ago that tomorrow is going to be the first Friday in like 12, 13 weeks with no Northern War and no Pokemon, and it's like that's kind of weird. I'm not going to be able to complain about Northern War ever again. I mean, I can complain about it whenever I dig well please, but I won't have any new content to complain about. Um I don't know when I don't know what a lot of the other seasonal anime coming up are going to be. I don't watch a lot of so I just saw the way I was scratching like, yo, got any seasonal anime? I know Witch from Mercury second season though is going to be starting up pretty soon, and I am looking forward to it. I watched season 1 I think I watched it back in like February, maybe January. I liked it quite a bit. I made a video about it if you want to see me talk about it. But that's the one thing I know. Like, I'm going to watch that when it comes out. I don't know if I'll wait for the whole thing and binge it like I did with season 1, or which was less of I'm waiting for it to finish and more just, hey, I didn't know it existed. Hey, look, it's done. Let me watch it. But I'll probably just watch it every week. But other things to talk about, like shit that happened this week. Multiverses is dead? Question mark? This game's life cycle has been fucking fascinating to follow. It was leaked, I think, quite a few months before it actually came out. Then it was announced, this is what the game is going to be. Here's an open beta. And people were getting... actually, no. Then it was like a couple like pre-alphas or whatever. Then there was the big open beta with a good chunk of characters. And I played it. I was playing it daily for like a few weeks or so. I was like, this is pretty fun. It's a bit too grindy for my taste, but... And, like, it's a bit too grindy. It's a bit too floaty as well. Like, I don't love it. You can tell that this doesn't have the Smash Brothers level of polish. But it's still a game that I liked quite a bit. And I enjoyed the roster. I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see, like, certain characters in here. Me, personally, wanted the Powerpuff Girls. And I wanted the Warner siblings from Animaniacs. Those were my, like, this is the thing I want the most. This is the thing I want second. Or vice versa, because like I'd be happy with either of those coming first. It's like, yeah, I had characters I really wanted to see. And so yeah, season 1 went pretty smoothly. It was like every 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, there was a new character, there was new shit. Hype was constantly building, culminating in the Game Awards, which was kind of a double-edged sword. Where on the one hand, like, oh yeah, it won like best fighting game this year, something really cool. But it also been leaked and reported that, yeah, they're going to have a character announcement. And then they just didn't. And the people who seem to have leaked it and, like, knew that kind of shit were like, yeah, I'm shocked. I don't know what the fuck happened. It was either, I think season 2 had already started at that point, and one character had been kind of shadow dropped, that was Marvin the Martian. And then after that, like, nothing. I think there were just like some new skins and some new content, but no new characters. And then they extended the date of season 2. Because I think they had even said, like, yeah, we promise, we're going to have more characters in season 2. And then they extended the date. Said some shit about, like, yeah, more time to finish the battle pass. But everyone was like, no, it's because they haven't released another character. And they promised this is probably what's going to happen. And then it didn't. And then we got the news that, oh yeah, it's going to be shutting down. It's going to be completely off. And then it's going to relaunch next year. I don't know if they specifically said when. I want to say in June next year. I might be making the June part up, but that sounds right. With the idea being like, cool, we did the open beta. It's all done. Like, with all the shit that we learned, we will now make, like, the proper full game. Like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, Tony seems like he's a really cool dude. Like, genuinely, like, he seems like he'd be a pretty cool dude to, like, hang around with. Or try to say hang out and around with, and it came out sounding really weird. But I from what I get from the guy, from, like, watching him on the presentations and on Twitter, he seems like a cool dude. Seems like they were way in over their head, though. Like, what genuinely seems like it happened was the game was in an open beta, but this was the game. Like, we're just going to keep adding shit until we're done, and we don't plan on being done anytime soon. We're just going to keep adding shit and building and building and building. But they just could not meet up with it anymore. I don't know what happened. I sincerely don't. I don't know if there was some, like, budget cut after the merger. if the game department kind of got slashed, which I don't think it did, but maybe it did, I don't know. Maybe it was just like, yeah, like when they launched the beta, because I know there was a lot of shit that was data mined. Maybe it's like, yeah, we had a lot of people, or a lot of characters that were really close to being done, so we were able to get season 1 out really quickly, along with like some of the other characters, like LeBron, who I think he came out, was he part of season 1, or was he just technically like before season 1? I don't exactly remember. But like, we can get quite a few people out, and then season 2 happened, and I guess maybe at that point it's like, well, everyone we're now working on is either being built from scratch or does not have as much work done. So now we're really seeing that we can't make shit as quickly. So what we need to do is shut down, make a bunch of shit, and then relaunch the game with a lot of that finished shit now done. Which I think is probably the best thing for them to do. Like, it's a good strategy. It's something that I don't want to be a judgmental asshole. I really don't. But it's something like this kind of reeks of desperation. But I'd rather they do a desperate move to try to save the game than just completely pull the plug. Because I was having fun with it. I hadn't touched it in a while, I won't lie. But I had liked it. It was fun. I want to see cool new characters come so I can play as them. I really, like I said, I've got characters I really want to see. You know, everyone really wanted Walter White. Apparently Samurai Jack was going to be coming to the game, and because he was such a fan favorite request. Like, it's something I really want to see succeed. And if it takes, if it takes kind of a delayed success, I guess, I'd rather that happen than just get completely fucked. Speaking of things that are completely fucked, Lamar Jackson's relationship with the Baltimore Ravens. Every time, I remember making my QB carousel video. I was like, this is what I think is going to happen. I don't have insider knowledge or anything, and fucking clearly I don't, because the more shit that comes out, the more that video just ages terribly. It literally aged like milk the next day. I was like, I think Derek Carr is going to go to the Jets. The Jets want Aaron Rodgers, and Carr's going to the Saints. Well, that's great. I'm not doing well so far, but I said Aaron Rodgers was going to retire, and even though the Jets really want him, I don't know if he really wants them. And then on Pat McAfee, like a week later, yeah, my intention is to play for the New York Jets. I was like 90% in on retiring, but then the Packers kind of fucked me over, so you know what? Fuck them. I want to go play for the Jets. Okay, well, I've got Lamar. At least Lamar hasn't let me down yet. I think he's going to stay in Baltimore. I think they realize he's too important to the franchise. And he's like, no, I requested a trade weeks ago. Okay. So clearly I have no fucking clue what's going on behind the scenes. Now, do I pretend to? No. I'm just trying to have some fun, but damn, I guess for me, having fun is just taking L's, I guess. But I own it. I have to. Like I said, I do want to make a video just going over everything that was right and everything that was wrong. But essentially, like, yeah, I got Baker Mayfield going to the Bucs. I got one right. Here's 10 in a row that are just wrong. But I do find the whole situation really interesting, though. On the one hand, Lamar is a former MVP. He is a starting caliber quarterback. Like, no one's going to deny that. Now, where you'd actually put him, like if you think he's top 5, top 10, top 15, etc., there's a lot of room for debate. But I think most people would say his athletic ability alone makes him an upper echelon quarterback, and they don't hit the market very often. But then you're also kind of like, there's a reason he's hitting the market. He knows what he wants. He knows what he thinks he's worth. And dude, go get it. Like, if that's what you think you're worth, and if you genuinely think like you can get it and you're not going to budge, I sincerely hope you get it. I hope someone gives it to you. But on the other hand, he has been injured the last 2 seasons. Like, he has not finished the last 2 seasons. I understand why a team would look at that and not go, why a team would go like, I don't know, like, I want to give you a good contract, like, you could really help our team, but the best ability is availability. And you can say, like, yeah, he's a former MVP. Like, wasn't he a unanimous MVP? Like, it was insane. Like, yes, 100%. That was also, what, like 3-4 years ago? Before the 2 injuries? And, like, yeah, he was the MVP that season. They looked unstoppable. How many playoff games did they win that season? They didn't. He's won a playoff game since, 100%. Then he lost the next one, and he hasn't gone the last couple years because, well, he keeps getting injured. It makes a lot of sense. Like, as much as I hate to say it, I understand why there's not a lot of buzz around Lamar from other teams. There's also the sense that we don't want to do the Ravens negotiating for them, because we can... Sorry, I just saw a car. I don't know if it's just driving slow or if it's about to pull up at my house. I'm a little sketched, I'm not gonna lie. They're still going kind of slow. I'm gonna ignore them and keep talking, I say, as I'm just still looking at the corner of my eye. I'm like, I get why there's not a huge market, but the fact that there's no market is what's kind of weird. Yeah, we don't want to do their negotiating for them. We don't want to come to terms with Lamar and then have them say, cool, that's the terms, we're gonna match that. But I mean, the Falcons really aren't going for Lamar? The commies really aren't going for Lamar? Like, those are some of the teams. Like, I remember making my video and I was like, as much as I want to say that he'll stay with Baltimore, I could really see him going to the Falcons. Like, I was that close to just, like, putting pen to paper. And honestly, it came down to the fact that I was like, I don't want him in the division. I really don't want to have to play Lamar twice a year. I want to be able to sweep the Falcons. I don't think we're doing that if they have Lamar Jackson. I can believe that he'll stay in Baltimore. And now I was like, well, that's not fucking happening. I don't know. Sorry, I just fucking realized that today is Thursday, which, you'd think for a Car Talk Thursday weekly thing, I would remember that. Because I haven't had dinner yet. I don't know what I was going to do for dinner. And my brain immediately went, wait, it's Thursday. I can do BOGO wings. I might do that. That actually sounds pretty good. Completely out of nowhere. So that's the way my brain works. Like, yeah, Lamar Jackson, football, and the Falcons. Wait a second. It's Thursday. I could get wings. Okay, back to football. I mean, I guess there's a connection there, but... Okay. But, yeah, I really don't want to have to play him twice a year. I hope he doesn't go to Atlanta. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to Atlanta. I really don't know when this saga is going to end. I think it's either going to be right before the draft or right after the draft. It is either going to be a team saying, here we go, like, let's get this shit done. Because maybe they don't sign him and do the 2 firsts because he's a restricted free agent. Maybe they do just agree to, like, a straight-up trade. Maybe it is just, here's 2 firsts for Lamar. I don't think the Ravens would accept that. I think if you were to get a trade for him, you would either have to give some really good players, a lot of picks, including a first, or maybe it's like, yeah, you have to get 2 firsts is the start. Now give me something to sweeten the deal. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, kind of like what the Panthers did. Like, here's our first this year to the Bears. Here's our first next year. DJ Moore. I don't remember what else they gave. I think they gave like a second or 2. Yeah, I just really don't know. But I'm thinking it'll probably be either right before the draft so the Ravens can capitalize on it, or like I said, it'll be right after, where a team like the Dolphins, who don't have a first round pick this year, like, well, let's try to get this done. I know I've said that I like Derek Carr, and I do. I like the signing. I kind of wish we got Lamar Jackson. Like, I remember watching that draft night and being like, as soon as the Saints traded up, I was like, dude, we're about to get Lamar Jackson. This is going to be so cool. It's going to be so hype. Like, I kind of want someone that can win now because Breeze is, like, his window is closing, but Breeze window might be closing, but if we get Lamar Jackson, the team's window might be open a little longer. Maybe this could work. And then we got Davenport. It's like, okay. I don't know him. I hope he's good and very up and down, but I do wish him all the best where he's going. I don't remember the team he's going to, but I still want to see him do well. Like, as long as a player does not actively shit talk the team or, like, the fan base, I hope they do well. Eli Apple? Fuck him. Trey Hendrickson? Go do you, man. Go fucking slay. I know CJ has like been talking a lot of shit, so I can't really root for him as much as I would love to, because I loved him when he was here. But I know Davenport, like, he had an article, and it was something about how, like, disappointed he was, and it was like the way the, like, it was very clickbaity the way it was written, because it made it sound like he was saying, like, yo, like, they disrespect, like, I feel disrespected, how can they treat me like this? But, like, the way he, like, what he actually said was something along the lines of, I underperformed, like, basically, I played like shit, that's on me, I wish things had been different, I wish I was able to kind of live up to my potential and, like, do better things for the city. I'm like, I respect that, I like that a lot, I really hope he does well. Man, I really don't know when we're getting a thing for Lamar. Like I said, it's either right before the draft or right after, but that's a lot of time for shit that, like, that could either be, like, right now or, I don't know, like, in fucking May. Sorry, I literally have age like milk written in my notes because of the QB carousel thing. Anyways, a couple days ago, I did some manga catching up, which is really nice to be able to do. I haven't read the new Ragnarok chapter that came out. I know the Tesla BL fight has ended. I was trying to read the Raws, and they didn't, again, like, you got any Raws for this chapter? Like, I didn't get to read the Raws, but I thought I was like, oh, okay, like, the Raws are out. Like, let me read a couple pages. Oh, there's only, like, 4 pages, but I just saw the ending of the fight. So now I kind of feel deflated about reading the ding-dang thing. Not in a sense of like, oh, the person I wanted to lose lost, or the person I wanted to win lost, so I'm deflated. But just like, well, I really wanted to not know as I was reading it. So there's that, I guess. But the fight is done. I don't think they've teased the next fight yet. I'm hoping it's Rasputin. I've been wanting to see Rasputin, like, the entire fucking series. I really hope and think he fights Anubis, because, like, yeah, the man who was known for not fucking dying and being so hard to kill, and possibly also still lives among us today as Alan Moore, is, like, fighting the god of death. Also, just, Anubis is just such a fucking cool god to me. I've always loved his design. Like, I can't wait to see Anubis in this manga. I mean, I kind of hope he's not just a dude. I do hope they, like, really incorporate the jackalness, the, like, jackal into his design. But I hope it's the next fight. I just want to, I want to be able to read a chapter and then just, as I'm seeing this character get introduced, have my brain go, rah, rah, Rasputin, Russia's greatest love machine. Like, oh, I want it so bad. I mean, in addition to that, I got caught up on Talentless Nana, which was a few chapters. We're still in this kind of current arc. I feel like what I really need to do with this manga is, like, because I'll wait a bit and read some chapters in bulk. I read, like, 3. I need more than 3. Because, like, it's monthly, so it feels like it moves really slow. It's like, I know a lot of people with Ragnarok, a lot of my friends, like, I just wait till a fight is done and then I binge it. I can't do that. But I feel like I should do it with Nana, because, like, there's just so much shit happening. I would rather just be able to binge it. I caught up on Land of the Lustrous. I don't really know what to say. It just makes me sad. It just kind of hurts my soul to read this. Like, Foss, you poor bastard. You poor, poor thing. No, quite a bit of this is your fault, but also just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry this shit happens to you. And I know when I was doing the podcasts, I had just a review of the series. Like, these are my thoughts on it. Short version, Foss is a fascinating character. And what I really love about the story of Hoseki no Kuni, or Land of the Lustrous, is that it is just a character study about Foss. I feel like as it kind of goes on in the later chapters, I mean, because it's not like the other characters don't matter. And they do definitely, I feel like, get more screen time in the later elements. The later elements, that was a weird way of saying it. And yeah, the later parts of the story. But to me, this is all about this one character. And it's kind of their loneliness and all of their self-doubt and their issues with their self-worth and how they try to improve it and how it becomes just more and more toxic. And it's so interesting to me. And it's gorgeous. Have you ever seen the anime? The anime looks fantastic. I like anime that are fully CG. I usually am like, that doesn't look good. I don't love CG in anime, but I've come around to it a lot more. I think it's just starting to get a lot better. Holy shit, that show looks great. But the manga? I remember as I was reading it, I would just take so many pictures of like different pages and different panels. There's so many moments that are just lonely, where you'll have like just one character in a real, like in a big open space or just in an area by themselves. Like, this is so like hauntingly beautiful. I would, if you did watch the show, I would highly recommend reading the manga. If you haven't read the manga, I would highly recommend reading the manga. Even if you don't get into the characters, even if you don't get into the plot, I feel like it's worth it for the artwork alone. And if you like the story itself, it's an added bonus. And I think it's a pretty good added bonus. Also, I got caught up on My Hero. It's fine. I just really lost interest around this part of the story, and I don't really know why. I think it's just because it's been going on so long, so I'm not like, man, I hate this story, like, it jumped the shark. I'm like, no, like, I think it's fine. Do I dislike the characters at this point? No, I think I'm just ready for it to be done. Yeah, that's really it. Like, I don't read it weekly anymore. I just like, yeah, give me a few chapters, let it build up, and then I'll binge it for a bit and go, oh, it's still not done. All right, I'll not touch it for like a couple more months. Man, fucking rip to the eShop. I haven't touched my 3DS in a good while. I won't lie. I don't have a Wii U. I know Jose does, and like the other day, or he's like, all right, this is the last day. Now let's buckle down and see what shit I need to buy. That was actually pretty fun. But it is just kind of a weird, kind of bittersweet thing. It's like, yeah, does this really affect me? No, but it's just kind of a sad thing to see happen. Although Jose was a little bit happy. He's like, cool, Pokemon Bank, like, doesn't cost anything anymore. It didn't cost me that much, but hey, you know, cheaper is cheaper. We take those. I have to talk about this. So, I've been reading Fate Stay Night, been reading the visual novel, the Fate route. I haven't gotten to UBW or Heaven's Feel yet. I like it a lot. Sorry, I can almost kind of feel the butt coming, and it's like, I genuinely really like it. I've seen the Dean anime a couple times. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, this is fucking ass. And then I rewatched it. Now they had a better sense of like what Fate is like about and all the shit that was going to happen. Some of the bullshit. I was like, I liked it a lot more the second time. Reading the Fate route, I actually like it quite a bit. I'll say, I've said it probably plenty of times on the channel. I'll say it plenty of times more. And probably every single, because I want to do a separate video for every route once I finish it, because they are just completely separate stories. Fate to me is in the holy trinity of fantastic ideas. I put it alongside Sword Art Online, which I think sucks. I haven't watched like Alicization or anything, but like the original arc of SAO, fantastic premise. I think the execution is dog shit. And Danganronpa, which I don't think is dog shit. I love me some Danganronpa. But Fate's, like, on paper, the premise is impeccable. And then it goes out of its way to remind you that this is a porn game. Because I got to the first sex scene, which I thought, because I had actually looked into it the other day, I was like, yeah, like, what are the differences between the version I'm playing and the original? Because I'm playing, like, Rialta Nua or whatever the fuck, which is, like, the re-release. And from what I understood, it removed the sex scenes. And I thought, well, on the one hand, that's good, because I don't really want to be reading sex. You know, if they kind of allude to it, you know, like characters, you know, coupling off and anything, that's fine. I don't really want to read, like, full-on shit. But on the other hand, I've heard the sex scenes are hysterical. Like, they're just so weird and out of nowhere. I'm kind of disappointed that I'm not going to get to experience them. And then I realized, no, they're still here. And oh my god, I laughed for like 20 minutes straight reading this shit. It was impeccable. It was magical. When Rin literally explains to Shiro, it's hard to say it out loud. It's impossible to say with a straight face. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna fail. Like I said earlier, one of my hobbies, I guess, is catching L's, because I'm not gonna be able to do this shit. But I'm gonna try. Rin looks at Shiro with a straight face. Okay, so let me set the scene. So they're in a forest, running from Alien Berserker, because they know if she catches us, we die. 2 of us are humans, only one of us is actually a servant. The servant is barely functioning right now, like she is exhausted. If Berserker finds us, we're fucked. So they managed to run, they managed to hide, like, all right, we found a spot. Hopefully we can sit here for a bit. We need to give Saber energy. Shiro, you can't do it for her because you're such a shit mage, you actually can't provide her with energy, and that's why she's so exhausted. That's something that just normally kind of happens. I don't really know what the problem is with you, but this doesn't work. Now, theoretically, we could have Saber, like, kill some people and, like, basically feed off their essences, but no, that's fucked. I'm going to suggest we do it because it's an option. Like, this is from Rin's perspective, but, like, Shiro's like, no, I'm not going to fucking do that. And even if I was down for it, Saber would not. And if I used the command spell to make her, she would never forgive me. So, like, no, that's not an option. And then Rin's like, well, there is a third option. You can sleep with her. What? Yeah, you can sleep with her. Like, you can make love to her. I'm going to try to say it. Rin says to him, I can't say with a straight face. She said, Amagus' semen is a cluster of magical energy. I can't say it with a straight face. What the fuck did I just read? That was my reaction. Like, there's no way that's something that someone actually wrote, like, being serious. Like, he had to have been fucking giggling like I am. It's like, okay, so here's how we make it into a porn game, because that's how it'll sell. When you, like, your semen is where, like, you're expelling magic. Yeah, that's how it'll work. Wow. And then it just gets wilder from there. Like, I thought the sex scenes were just gonna be like, oh, okay, so, like, Shiro and whatever girl it is, depending on the route, it's Saber, then it's Rin, then it's Sakura. They have to do this, and, the 2 of them are kind of awkward. They don't really know what to do, but it's also something that's kind of sweet at the same time, because Shiro, whatever route it is, he tends to really like, I mean, kind of, even in this route, he's like, yeah, I really like Saber. He's definitely has a thing for Rin. And at least with Sakura, he's like, yeah, this is a good friend of mine, and I've taken notice of her. I was like, yeah, I imagine it'll be something kind of sweet. It goes fucking hard. Literally, it goes fucking hard. Really fast. And I was not expecting it. I was not ready for it. And it just made the whole thing so much funnier. I'm so glad I got to read it. And the entire time I was like, thank goodness, like, I don't live with my parents anymore, because I would hate for them to walk in and be like, you're just reading porn. You're just watching porn. And I'm like, but, like, there's nothing erotic about it. Like, I swear, like, it's just funnier. And I can't even be like, guys, like, it's, the rest of the story isn't like this. It's just a one weird scene. And it's a weird scene. Oh, man. I thought the weird CG dragon in the Dean anime was some funny shit. It doesn't hold a candle to the original scene. That shit is so much funnier. I genuinely considered just, like, going into my car and recording afterwards. Like, guys, I just read this shit. I can't function anymore. I was like, I could save it for Car Talk Thursday. Only a couple other things to talk about. Nothing nearly that funny. I got back into writing. I really hadn't touched the manuscript I've been working on since, like, I was playing Symphonia, and then after Symphonia was Engage, and Fire Emblem just took over all my time, man. But oh, that's done. I was like, cool. Like, Fate is now the big, like, fiction project. But I've had that itch to write for the past, like, few days, and it's time to fucking scratch it. Let's go. And, like, I was able to finish a chapter. I've been working on another chapter. I'm just having a good time. Like, this is the thing that makes me happy. Catching L's might be a hobby, but this is just my passion. And the only other thing to talk about is that, yeah, on last Friday, So Much for Stardust came out, the new Fall Out Boy album. I love me some Fall Out Boy, and I was really happy. And I've listened to it several times already. I've been listening to it a lot, just like while going for walks. And I definitely like it a lot. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite. I feel like I kind of need to re-listen to some of the older albums as well. Like, I was listening to Infinity last night. I didn't get through the whole thing. And not like, oh man, this album sucks, I don't want to get through it. I was like, no, it was late. I need to fucking go to sleep. I was getting tired. But I was like, man, I remember how much I love this album. I think Infinity on High was the first album I ever actually bought. So it definitely has a lot of nostalgia for me. I love Folie à Deux. I think Folie à Deux is my favorite Fall Out Boy album. But yeah, I think So Much for Stardust is really good. I don't mind the poem songs, the like Little Pink Seashell and Baby Annihilation. It's just weird that they're full tracks. Like, they're not, they're like a minute each. But they have their own like track listing and everything, because I'm used to, like, whenever they do those kinds of poems, they're just part of another track. Like, I know there's a couple songs. I don't think there's anything like that on Infinity, not off the top of my head. Folie à Deux has, I think it's after WAMS. There's one. I think there's also, no, I might be missing. No, WAMS has Patrick going, it's $20 Nosebleed is the one that has like the long poem at the end. And there's I think a couple songs on From Under the Fork Tree, or I like to call it Fucked, FUCT. But I think there's a couple songs that have poems like that. I think I just would have liked that a little bit more, just because it feels weird otherwise. But I do really like most of the songs. So Much for Stardust just kind of hits me really hard. What a Time to Be Alive. I really like it. It's been stuck in my head for a while. 10 Years, I think is, I guess I'm just going from the bottom to the top. 10 Years, I think, is good overall. It's one of those songs where, like, I didn't super care for it, but I like it more every time I listen to it. But I do really like the Roll the Highlights part. That's my favorite part of the song. What's after that? I think after that is Baby Annihilation, which is one of the poems. I think it's fine. Flu Game is not one of my favorites, but I don't think it's bad. It just doesn't really hit me like the way some of the others do. But again, like, I kind of like it a little more every time I listen to it. I Am My Own Muse fucking slaps. I adore it. Little Pink Seashells, the other poem song. I do like it. What's right before it? Shit. This is the one I, like, always forget. But I think it's fine. Like, I don't hate it. I do like it, but I genuinely can't. I think it feels so good. Yeah, feels so good, right? Feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. I think that's where it is on the album. I could be wrong. It might be Heaven, Iowa that's right before it. I'm not sure, but Feels So Good I think is okay. Heaven, Iowa slaps. Also one of my favorites on the album. Hold Me Like a Grudge I think is alright. It's kind of starting to grow on me a bit more. It just didn't click with me. Heartbreak Feels So Good. I don't love, and Love from the Other Side is a fucking banger. I might have forgotten a song. I'm sorry if I did. Probably doesn't bode too well for the song. Whoops. So, like, I do like all the songs on the album, and then even some of the ones that are kind of like, are starting to grow on me more. I don't really have a ranking of, like, these are all my favorite songs in the album. If I had to, like, gun to my head, I'd probably just say So Much for Stardust is my favorite. Then it just depends on my mood. It might be What a Time to Be Alive, Love from the Other Side, Heaven, Iowa, and I Am My Own Muse in some order. But Album's great. I like it a lot. I'm probably going to listen to it again some more, and I'm probably going to go get wings unless I decide to get something else. Thank God for BOGO Thursdays. That's it. Bye.